Hello everyone, you're watching Pitch Battle. I'm your host Indra Neel. Today we have India versus Bangladesh T20 World Cup match. Whenever that Bangladesh team comes to my mind, I'm reminded often about that 2007 encounter which we lost by 5 wickets in Port of Spain. I can't sort of rub it out of my memory and what happened on that day. Bangladesh, of course, it's not a big side as much as we think they are at home. But when they come and play the ICC events, especially against India and Sri Lanka, they are a different beast. They have done well over the years. They pushed the opposition, which is India, and they have done it time and again. So this time again, we are expecting some sort of battle between bat and ball, and that's what cricket makes it interesting. Why people got bored in the US because it was one-sided. Why people got bored, probably not bored. I have to correct myself. When IPL happened, so many runs were scored. I don't know what happened then, but when it's an equal battle between bat and ball, really that's the moment you want to capture as a fan, as a journalist, as an onlooker, whosoever is watching the game. Tonight, it's going to be Bangladesh versus uh, India. India versus Bangladesh, whichever is the right way. But to take the discussion forward, we have joined by Avinash and Shakya. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Dada.
Thank you,
Bangladesh,
Indranil.
2007. I can't forget that day when we lost by 5 wickets. We were all out by 191 or something, and they rounded up the match at the loss of like 5 wickets or something of that sort happened. But Bangladesh is a scary side. Avinash, when you come to think of it, I'm really skeptical. I'm really worried. They can do anything. We have won matches, if I'm not mistaken, at home. Hardik Pandya delivered that over. Dhoni was the captain. Remember?
Yes, Chinnaswamy.
Yeah, we
I mean,
yes.
yeah, it was.
They are a
I mean,
different
they are
what
a
they
good
have done.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even last T20 World Cup, when we faced them, Dada, we set a stiff target of 180 plus, and then the way Liton Das gave the start to the Bangladesh team, eventually the match was decided via DLS, and India ended up winning that game. But even in that game, it was not a one-sided affair. Bangladesh have been giving some tough competition to India. They might not have been able to cross the final hurdle, but they are the sides who cannot be taken lightly in any means. So, Team India will have to be cautious once again. Uh, though Bangladesh are coming on the back of a defeat and India are on a roll, but you never really know what will happen in the T20 format. It's a lottery format, and one wrong decision or one good over might turn the match upside down. So, definitely, Bangladesh are a team to look out for. Yes, they have not been able to live up to the reputation that they have carved. They every now and then they are only able to pull off a couple of upsets, nothing more. But when it comes to India, as you rightly mentioned, when it comes to India, Sri Lanka, they are a different beast.
absolutely. Shakya, talk about momentum, shifting gears from one. The way things happen in T20 game, one ball can change the entire course of the match, and it's so short, and that's why a lot of smaller teams come into the equation so easily. And the fact that so many people are playing that many leagues across the world, so the competition, the margin of error is really less. Your thoughts on that, and how do you see Bangladesh as an opposition for India tonight?
Yeah, T20 is the one of the reasons why I believe the ICC and all the associations have embraced T20 is because of what you're talking about. The fact that things can change, the things can change in a very quick moment, and um,
True.
and that's what's happened so far. Look at the number of teams that have done well: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, USA, Scotland was in contention for a short while in this tournament. In fact, a lot of teams have punched above their weight in this particular T20 World Cup, and I see the T20 format growing and growing because it is something which is allowing the newer teams, newer and younger teams to come through. As far as Bangladesh is talking about, I've heard the discussion that's been going on right now. The 2007 match that we played, we lost that game, but one of the things that came out of that game was, in the next 1 year, India moved on to a younger, limited overs side. Some of the seniors, they were gradually phased out. You can't say they were dropped. They are very respected players like Rahul Dravid and Saurav Ganguly, but they were gradually phased out, is what you can say. And we moved to a set of younger players. And I see with this, at the end of this T20 World Cup, there are parallels. We are going to see some of the older people
True.
being phased out of the T20 format after this tournament. And I genuinely, Bangladesh is a team that can't be taken lightly. They've been around for a while. They've not done justice to their potential, and but of course, when it comes to facing India, there is a different energy that's there. Guess because we are neighboring countries, therefore everybody wants to gets motivated when it's coming to playing India, especially Bangladesh, and the India Pakistan rivalry is well known. But still, I would say the
Absolutely.
way India's playing in this tournament, we have some big names have not delivered, but I think India will probably start favorites because our middle order seems to be in good shape, and our bowling is has been delivering throughout. So yeah, I hope today is not a repeat of 2007.
No, 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 no way, man. I have to, then we'll have to starve. I mean, we won't eat dinner. We'll be so sad if that happens. Not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
in
we all
our
remember.
wildest of dreams.
Yeah.
We can think of,
In fact,
yeah,
my memory of
Avinash,
an
go ahead.
India-Bangladesh encounter goes back to 2005, the fateful day of December 25, when Bangladesh
Were you
defeated
in
India.
school?
Two,
Were you in
I was
school
in
that
school.
time?
I was in school. I
Oh
was in school. I was
my
watching
God.
the game, and India. I mean, they just surrendered against Bangladesh in that ODI, the second ODI, and it was the first time that they lost a match against Bangladesh. MS Dhoni debut series, and he also couldn't do well in that match. Was run out.
Yeah,
So a lot of memories of Bangladesh. I mean, upsetting India that day because that Indian side was studded with all the greats of the game. I mean, there was Saurav Ganguly, there was Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, and everybody else was there. But that was the day which I think more than the 2007 defeat, that memory of 2005 loss is still fresh in my mind because on that day, I was not in a mood to digest the fact that India are going to they have lost it.
true. That was one day. I mean, I for me it's 2005, 2007 World Cup match. I mean, I can't get over that. But Shakya, I mean, looking at the way, I mean, we've spoken about in our last show also that Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, they become a talking point once again because they are not scoring, and that's the only two position which is fixed. Otherwise, and Rishabh Pant also to some extent. So, are we expecting something worthwhile coming from their back because they haven't contributed so consistently? Uh, how do you see these two stalwarts are going to take this game? Uh, I mean, what's the way forward for them right now, Bangladesh? Because before we face Australia, I don't know. I mean, something happens to our team when we see that yellow jersey. We've spoken about it again and again. But your thoughts, how these two openers who have failed to give a good start, and a lot of people are writing. We had the first one probably to discuss yesterday that it's a concern. It's a huge concern. You don't get a good start. How do you expect team to win? I mean, whenever we have done well, everything. It's not about middle order. It's also about getting a good start, getting a flying start. And your thoughts, Shakya.
Uh,
How do you think they will cope with this?
Indranil, I do think a concession should be made in this particular tournament because of the surfaces on which they're being played, and uh, even yesterday, a player like Joss Butler, who's as good a T20 batter there is, he made 17 of 20 balls, which could have been costly, which eventually ended up being costly to England. And we don't know, it could cost
Yeah.
England qualification as well. So when you have batting up till number 8, it may not necessarily be the number of runs you're making, but the speed at which you're making those runs, because eventually everyone needs to get that much amount of time. Rohit Sharma still has a ghost on it because of the innings he played in the 2022 semi-final. But I won't be concerned about the number of runs they make. I would be, as you're rightly saying, if they can give a good start, and if you can get to about 50 in the first 6 or 60 in the first 6, I think that'll be good enough. And if you lose a wicket along the way, that's fair, that's fine. But I my concern would be a runner ball. My concern would be if like what Joss Butler made 17 of 20. That's not the kind of innings that you would want any of these two people to play. But again, Bangladesh has on the surfaces that this tournament is being played, left arm seam has been troublesome for Rohit Sharma and a little bit to Virat Kohli as well. And they've tied them up. That it's not just been wickets. It's also the number of dot balls. And today, Mustafizur Rahman, who's a very, very skilled bowler in this format on these pitches, they're going to be up against him. And Mustafizur Rahman has a good record against Rohit Sharma. So again, I would say like definitely they'll need to handle them. To me, he will be the main threat, because I think India has been doing fine against other bowling. Left arm pace throughout the tournament has been a bit of a concern for India, and Mustafizur Rahman will be someone who they'll need to watch out for. But still, if I would be more concerned if you're not making the big scores. I mean, Rohit and Virat, it's okay. Don't make a 50, but even if you can make a 30 of 20 balls or a 35, whatever, something in that with that strike rate, I'll take that, because in the team score has got to be the priority.
Absolutely. You have really sort of taken up a very good point. I remember when this generation of cricketers, uh, you remember last year when Tilak Verma was batting with Hardik Pandya, and he was on the verge of scoring a 50. And Hardik Pandya deliberately ensured that he doesn't get his 50. And everyone sort of started trolling Hardik. But Hardik's point of view was very simple. When you're playing for your team, no matter what happens. You've seen it time and again, that generation of cricketers where Virat Kohli was there, Sachin Tendulkar, number made a lot of difference. But here it's not about your runs, it's about how much is team going to score, how much your team is going to benefit through your score. That is the main point. And I can see that shift, despite these two stalwarts being there who have got great numbers. I can see that sudden shift, not playing, not bothered about what people say. I mean, purist of the game would really curse Rishabh Pant because he's playing that reverse sweep to a straight ball directed towards stumps. But all that is happening because cricket has changed so much, and so has the attitude, the mental conditioning has changed so much, and people want to play for their team. And Rishabh Pant, the way he's playing, uh, Avinash, your thoughts? How this can you sense it? I can sense it very well. That don't worry if you get out, but go for the shots. Jao jaake maro.
Absolutely.
That.
बिल्कुल ये मारो ये जो मतलब वी हैव सीन दिस अ वेरी पॉपुलर डायलॉग ये नया इंडिया है ये घर में घुस के मारता है ये कहीं ना कहीं इट इज ऑल कमिंग फ्रॉम दैट स्कूल ऑफ थॉट एक्चुअली the game has also evolved a lot, and we've seen over the years what's been happening. And let us go back to the 2016 India and West Indies semi-finals in Mumbai. What happened there? India were the better side. They scored good runs, but the difference West Indies created, not just in the semi-finals, even in the finals, was that they were hitting sixes, and that was the difference. So if you are scoring boundaries, you are even if you are not playing, rotating the strikes, which Virat Kohli and Dhoni did very well. They were rotating the strike, but when you have potential big hitters in the side who can explode right from the start, and I mean they just lay the entire bowling lineup. I mean, make it look so nimble and feeble. So that is the shift that we have seen in world cricket, but not in Indian cricket. With the likes of Rishabh Pant, Surya Kumar Yadav to an extent, and now also the likes of Tilak Vermas, Abhishek Sharmas, who will be into the fray in the next couple of years, Rinku Singhs, and these are all fearless cricketers. They are not concerned about the wickets that they are playing on. Also, the personal milestones, at times they just keep it aside and look at contributing for the team. It's a team game. You will not be awarded or rewarded for the individual performances. Yes, you'll be hailed, but at the end of the day, what we are witnessing is there's a drought of a trophy in the Indian team's cabinet for the last 11 years. And it's because we have always been keeping personal milestones above the team efforts. So unless and until, I mean, it's not just about the players. I mean, players might not be thinking on those lines, but actually it's the fans and the spectators and the expectations of the Indian cricket fans is such that, okay, Virat Kohli should score runs no matter what. Rohit Sharma should score runs no matter what, or Hardik Pandya, it's XYZ. So this thirst, this hunger for an individual player's performance should just satiate, and only then can we graduate to the next level. Luckily for us, fortunately for us, the younger generation doesn't think the way this generation used to think. So that's a shift we are witnessing, and it is good for the game that the likes of Rishabh Pant and others, they are just playing some selfless games.
So true. I mean, uh, how often have you seen these cricketers coming and doing stuff uh, for themselves, playing for those numbers? And when you actually talk to them, they say, "No, no, no, I don't play for any number. I play for the team. I want the team to benefit." But if you look back and turn the history pages, you'll only see them benefiting more than. And the fact that we have not, because of this attitude, we have never played on knockout matches as a team. Uh, it's not about how much you're contributing to your overall stats. I mean, that's the hallmark. I mean, that's the main thing on the basis of which you can win ICC tournaments. That hasn't happened because we've never turned up as a team on big days. This is one more opportunity because this generation we phased out if we don't win. If we win, I don't know what happens. I mean, they should sort of, and no one wants to go away from T20 cricket because that's the market driven force. Uh, they want to be seen playing for India that so that it helps their paycheck in IPL. All that is interlinked. Shakya, so how do you want to explain that phenomena, which is the fat paycheck which you need, and that's why you don't want to give up that easily.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's really not ideal because you'll see them in other countries, people retire from formats, and
True.
whether you're good enough or not good enough. But here we don't hear it. We hear whenever a player is retired, they've retired from all formats. You'll never hear a player saying, "I'm retired from X form from one format," or "We have retired from this format." And certainly nobody retires from T20 cricket. We've not even Cheteshwar Pujara, who'll never play a T20 match, has still not said that I'm not available for limited overs cricket. So we don't hear this in India. But
No, I
and
mean
of course
India is different.
that IPL bid comes into the picture, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next year. But yes, there's going to be a churn at the end of this tournament. It's inevitable, and but what you're talking about individual milestones, I believe the fans know it. The fans may make more of it than what actually goes on. You were a witness to it, Indraneel, in 2004. You were in Pakistan when Sachin Tendulkar was declared, when they declared when he was on 194, and there was a huge tamasha that happened. That why did Rahul Dravid declare on 194? So, but I don't know if that made what Sachin Tendulkar was thinking of. He made one statement, "I am disappointed," but I don't think we should have read too much into it. But there was so much chaos that broke out between Sachin Tendulkar's fans and Rahul Dravid's fans. And similarly, this keeps going on. But you recently saw in the 2011 World Cup, which we won, Gautam Gambhir got out for 97. We've not really ever heard him complaining about why he's himself not complained about why he didn't get the 100. If he got it, he got it. But India won the match, and we won that Multan match as well. But yes, it's a habit that should change. It's definitely a habit that should change, and even now in T20 cricket, I would definitely look at a 40 of 25 balls over a 50 or 45 balls. I think that is something that it is changing. It is definitely changing in India.
And we shall see what is changing, because in next 10 days we'll get to know, or less than 10 days we'll get to know who's actually the real champion of T20. But that is also there. I mean, the fact that every year we have an ICC event. The ICC event used to come once in 4 years. Avinash, that had that being a champion used to soak inside your world. We are playing up against your world champions. That feeling is gone somehow, because ICC at some level was trying to compete with IPL. Uh, ICC obviously, fought against IPL at some point of time. It was then Chairman Shashank Manohar fought his way, and he said no. And other countries didn't want to support IPL, but today what IPL is, because of the support they got from other countries, South Africa, Australia, England. England initially didn't play IPL, but now they have started getting players from England. So, which is an amazing thing, because the money power is quite remarkable. But coming back to what we are seeing right now, Indian team, what else do you think would be inside the minds of the team management? How can they approach differently to make it really clinical? Because you're only playing these matches. I know there won't be any problem in these kind of games. Only problems we have is when we have to die games. And last time we were able to get past that semi-final spot, enter the final, and then we crushed in the final. So this time we're expecting similar conditions like we have in Chennai. The ball is not coming up. That's that in that fashion, not coming that easily to the bat. Uh, you've seen we have mostly stroke makers, but then you have Rishabh Pant, who is really showing us the way. And I want to talk about Rishabh because Avinash is waiting for the ball, and when you wait for the ball, you can really play well. He's rather than rushing to the ball, he's reacting so well to the ball, which is hurled at him, and on a slower weekend, you have to play that waiting game, and Rishabh is doing that. He can, he's transferring the weight transfer with little footwork, going up forward, coming back, rocking back when the ball is pitch short. Is quite a treat, and the way he taps the bat, uh, bringing in Newton's law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The speed at which the bat goes up, it comes down with a much larger and a stronger speed. Rishabh is really lighting up this World Cup for India and for people who are watching it. He'll bring in some element of excitement when he's on the crease, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And and we are always on tenterhooks. What's going to happen on the next delivery, which Rishabh Pant is facing, and that's the beauty of T20 format. And Rishabh Pant certainly has added a fresh element. There's a template in the way every Indian batter plays, but that's not the case with Rishabh Pant and even Surya Kumar Yadav. The way he plays, he has this outrageous shots in his repertoire. But Rishabh Pant, every time he's on the pitch, on the crease, and on strike, you will always be wondering that, okay, we're keeping our fingers crossed. He plays it well. He hits it out of the park, and so does the opposition as well. He's also pushing them on the back foot, always forcing them to go for a plan B, because he's the one who's always throwing their plans out of gear. So definitely, Rishabh Pant is making the difference. But now I would want Rishabh Pant to also sort of prove that he can play a long innings in T20 ice. The cameos that he's making, it's just commendable. But just imagine, Dada, if he just stays at the crease and faces like 50 deliveries. If a batter of Rishabh Pant's caliber faces 50 deliveries, it would also mean that he's making 120 or 130 odd runs. And that is the kind of a
So
knock I want to see from Rishabh Pant, because yes, he's a vitriolic batter. You never know what will happen on the next ball that he faces. But if he just stays in the middle a little longer than he's spending, I mean, sky is the limit. There's a sky in the team, but for Rishabh Pant, it could be sky in the limit.
no, but the best part of the story is that when you start to want to hit the ball, when you want to hit the ball, you can you there is always a possibility of getting out.
Yeah,
Someone other day told me, he said, no, you can't get me out. I said, okay, a young cricketer. Uh, said you can't get me out. I said, okay, it's possible because and I told him, I replied replied back to him. I said, you also can't get me out. And he said, how come? I said, I will not get out. That's it. Because if I don't play, if I become a strokeless wonder, obviously I won't get out. But if you're playing strokes, you're taking that chances. And the deal here is to stay there without getting out. And Rishabh uh, is not scared of getting out. That generation of cricketers is over. I remember 2012 when Indian team was touring Australia, and Rahul Dravid was getting bowled through his bat and pad. And I wrote an obituary kind of a piece. I said, over for Rahul Dravid. But today's generation, a batsman get out bowled, next match he'll come and finish you completely, destroy you. And that's the generation we're talking about. You every day, you just go out there, perform, delete that performance you've done for your team, and then move on. And how fast you can move on will sort of ensure your good days. And as it is, it's very tough to be consistent in T20. But that energy, that intent, won't you believe? I mean, you won't believe that when Rishabh took the first run, he played for against Punjab, I think, first match of the IPL, and the way he ran, it was a little nudge on the onside, and the way he ran, I knew it there and then. I didn't know that he's going to keep wickets. I knew he's come. He's arrived. Rishabh has arrived. The big stage once again, and same Rishabh Pant has become such an important part. He was not even a regular keeper in 19 World Cup, in 22, 21. Uh, the team management backing him, and we are also hearing from a lot of people, Gautam Gambhir, if he becomes the coach, Rishabh is going to be the man who's going to be the real boss, and he'll start out with T20 captaincy. Your thoughts, Rishabh Pant, the way he's playing, the way he's carrying India. Do you see him as a captain of T20 in future, Shakya?
Yes, I do. I do see him as a potential captain. There are many, but thing that about Rishabh, that throughout his career has impressed me, and definitely in the last 3 years, is that he's actually a big match player. He actually is someone who rises to the occasion when it really matters. He's done it in Test cricket. We are yet to see that in limited overs, but this could be that tournament. And the kind of form he's carrying, this could be that tournament. We saw that in the Border Gavaskar Trophy in
Oh,
2020, 2021. He came to the he played a brilliant innings against South Africa in the final test. Unfortunately, India could not defend 240, and they should have, because but he played and he made 100 against England in the last test match of the test series, but England chased down 370. Sometimes he's an ordinary control, but he always plays well in big matches. And again, we had a discussion about Jasprit Bumrah being a decisive factor. Rishabh Pant will
hmm.
also be a decisive factor in this tournament, because not only because of the way he plays, but because he's that one person who is fearless, as has already been described, and he doesn't so far appear to have that fear of big match. Big match
Yeah.
fear is not there, and I'm sure he
And
can.
not
And I'm
fearful of getting out. He
not fearful
doesn't
of
mind
getting
getting out
out,
also.
and he's delivered in big matches. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this is the moment. And this he has an amazing story. The way he's come back from that near fatal accident, and this could be a great comeback story. One of the comeback story for the ages, if he can lead India to if India goes on to win the title and he plays a pivotal role in that, what a story that will be. So yeah, I mean, Rishabh Pant for me, yeah, again also captaincy material for sure going forward.
No, I can visualize the way you spoke about it. Rishabh carrying the trophy. More than the trophy, he's just taking a victory lap after India would win the T20 World Cup, and Rishabh would say, "Oh, this is the best moment of my life after what I've gone through a few years ago." And then I would put the Gabba Test as my second most memorable innings of my life. I can imagine Rishabh doing that, and he does it so easily. And he's the only saving grace we have in this team, and someone who is going to play for India in all formats for next 10 years, thankfully. And that's why he's the captain material. It's not KL Rahul because of his fitness concern. It's not Hardik Pandya because of his fitness concern. It's not just with Bumrah, who doesn't have that many years like Rishabh has. Rishabh is the guy who's going to take this generation of cricketers forward in all formats. Fearlessness, technique, has got a lot of time. I mean, I remember South Africa last time, not this previous South African tour, he scored 100 and everyone struggled. And in that tour, I think Virat had left captaincy and and Rishabh had 100 in that series, I remember. Oh my God, he had so much time. I mean, you could easily make out Virat Kohli batting, making a lot of effort, and he was playing well also. But Rishabh was effortless. And when we do things effortlessly, it becomes quite natural, and the flow very comes to you very very naturally. You don't have to worry, and that's what Rishabh is stands for us right now in front of us, right? Right. I mean, Avinash, how do you want to see that Rishabh Pant story?
Uh, I mean, if India actually end up winning this tournament, definitely it would be the story of the tournament for India should be Rishabh Pant because let's be very honest, Dada, the player who's
No,
creating a
no.
lot
One more
of
thing.
difference
If
for
we
India,
win, it has to be Rishabh Pant. If we win, it has
obviously.
to be
Yeah, yeah.
Rishabh Pant. Sorry.
Yeah, let's talk about the 2023 World Cup final. We ended up losing because we lacked a player of Rishabh Pant's caliber. Had it been a knock like this, we would have easily scored 300. And even Pat Cummins had agreed that 300 would not have been an easy target to chase. And of course, we saw what KL Rahul did. We criticized what Surya Kumar Yadav did. But then in that game, a player like Rishabh Pant was clearly missed. And in fact, a lot of people were actually started saying, had it been Dhoni, things would have been different. We would have ended up scoring a lot many runs that we actually did. Because of the fact that MS Dhoni was the man who used to create a lot of difference in big matches for India. And yes, we've seen what Rishabh Pant had been doing for India. Whenever there was a crunch match, be it a Gabba Test, be it in the South Africa, like you mentioned, be it in the WTC finals, wherever Team India needed him, he was there, and he actually ended up delivering. He has this strong mental fortitude, and that makes him a special player. And we needed a special player like Rishabh Pant on that fateful evening on November 19th at Narendra Modi Stadium. Unfortunately, we didn't have Rishabh Pant back then. We are lucky to have a Rishabh Pant here, and hopefully the entire team we are all talking about why they should be winning it for. There was a big call. Team India should win this World Cup for Virat Kohli. He scored 50 hundreds as well. Now he's completed a big milestone, surpassed the legendary Sachin Tendulkar, established him as one of the greatest white ball players the game has ever witnessed. But and even now, we've seen people talking about, okay, let's win it this time for Kohli and Rohit because it's probably their last T20 World Cup, could be even their last ICC event in the white ball format. But for me, it should be about a player like Rishabh Pant because the way he's come back, the way he's performing, the way he's carrying himself, And we've seen him just mature a lot in even in the IPL and the con. Earlier we used to see watch a witty, chirpy Rishabh Pant behind the stumps who used to give spade a spade to the likes of Tim Paines and the rest. But now we see a
Yes.
much mature Rishabh Pant who's giving some vital suggestions. And I mean, the likes of Akshar Patels and Kuldeep Yadavs are going gaga over Rishabh Pant for giving some vital tips from behind the stumps, keeping the faith of a captain alive in them, even if they are going for runs, not picking up wickets. So that speaks volumes about the character this cricketer has developed over the years. So definitely he's matured enough. He's looking. He's not just a potential. I think he's the best choice you can have as the captain of the Indian side across all formats going forward.
Truly so, truly so. And what is remarkable is, you look at Surya, they are well suited to play on wickets where the ball comes. But Rishabh is one cricketer of this generation who can play on slow wickets, can score runs on wickets where the ball is
Yeah.
not coming. He can, of course, hammer any bowling on a pitch where the ball is coming nicely to the bat. So he's an all-rounder batter in that way, and
Also,
such
I
a
believe
captain
Dada,
would be super.
he's kind of a player. I mean, the likes of Surya Kumar Yadav or Jasprit Bumrahs. I mean, these are the players who should not be burdened with the responsibility of the captains. Let them play freely. I mean, if the burden of a captaincy also falls upon their shoulder, we might not see the same Surya Kumar Yadav that we see. Take for example the case of Jasprit Bumrah in that England Test. I mean, he is a different bowler when he plays without any added baggage. But in that contest, he just looked the mere shadow of himself. He was hardly picking up wickets, bowling was not able to bowl the right lines in the areas. So definitely, the pressure of captaincy also tends to do a lot than the pitches and the conditions with the player's mind.
Your closing thoughts, Shakya, before we round the show.
Um, yeah, like I feel this tournament, and we've started with it and saying, I unfortunately believe there is a fan base in India, and there are also people who write about it as well, that they would be okay if their favorite players make a number of runs and the team doesn't win. I hope that comes to an end, because I think the way this T20 World Cup is going, it may not. It, if you it's more about how you're contributing to the total, to the team effort, than your personal milestones. And I feel this, that if even if Rohit and Virat don't end up having very good tournaments from here forward, they may recover. But if India does well, it's all right. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. True.
I would
Very
True.
take
good
a
point.
team
Yeah.
win over personal achievements. And I think from 1 to 11, we have a reasonably good side. Maybe that one spot of Shivam Dubey has to be looked into, but I hope even Shivam Dubey comes good. These pitches haven't been easy for batters, and and we have probably found a solution of coping on them. But let's see. All the best to our match today. We could seal us a last
Absolutely.
four berth by winning today, and after
Yeah.
that the tournament starts. I mean, knockouts is where is where it all decides what kind of a tournament, where
So
we'll be
so
judged.
so the
But
message is no. So the message
yeah,
is
please,
quite
please.
clear. Team before self. No, I mean, just
Yeah, yeah,
message is quite clear.
absolutely.
Team before self, and there is nothing beyond that. And thanks a lot, Avinash, Shakya, for coming and throwing the light, this essence of playing this game. It's not about being a batter or a bowler doing stuff for yourself. It's about being a match winner. The team can a champion side is a side which has a match winner in every individual. 11 are match winners. Anyone can come and turn it around for his team, and that's what cricket is all about. Thanks a lot, guys. And pitch battle is really picking up a lot of momentum. Momentum is equal to force into acceleration. So we have enough force also and accelerating quite well. And thanks to Newton's law, cricket and every bit of cricket in Newton's law is being used. It's a science completely. And then you have the mental side of it. Cricket is really interesting in many ways than I mean, in many ways. I mean, not only one particular reason why it's such a wonderful game. We love so much. Thanks a lot, guys, and keep watching Pitch Battle and see you soon.